I was going to stop the audio when I did that. Okay, off for a few seconds. What we're doing is we're going to take the truck. I need to find my tweezers wherever I put them. There. Take the truck and solder it back onto plus and minus battery. Plus battery is there, minus battery is there. I need to strip the wires off a little bit because I bent them back and forth and eventually they broke. Okay, so that sounded like it was hot enough. It hit the sponge. We're just going to tin it a little bit. Am I in? Yeah, not great, but so you take the wire and you try and keep it away from other stuff for a little bit. You touch it with the solder, heat it up, and then you get the wire, if possible, to melt the solder, and then you run the solder along the wire. I'm not positive that's the correct way to do it, but that's how I do it. And that's called the tinning. So if you look at the board here, you'll see there's a blob of solder there and a blob of solder there. I will use a smaller. This is your negative, and this is your positive. So we're going to take we're going to drop it on the floor first, apparently. That's just what I do. Okay. Let's see. I can get both connected here. It doesn't look like it. I'll leave it sitting on there. Then we're going to take our positive. That's a long way to go. Okay. Flip it around the other way. Let's give this the grip on the corner. I'm using this corner because you'll see there's no traces around it. That's where the screw went in. There is. And we're going to do black first. So the black, I touch the solder, get it liquid, and then I just kind of stick this guy in. And he sets. And then the red one, we hit it with some heat. Put it in the middle. Kind of smoosh it together. And clean off the tip. And I will get a picture with the camera. Not the best of cameras, but it's not the one that's on the tripod, so I can do this at the same time. Actually, that might actually be okay. Actually, that's not bad. Okay. Anyway, we have our power connected again. So we're going to connect our rear wheels. There's a slot in the connector. It won't let you put it in backwards, although I have tried a few times, but it won't let you put it in backwards. And this one. This one is a different color. Same keying, but it's a different color. I'm sure that it would actually work if I plugged them in backwards, but I don't really want to do that. Oh, and somehow when I dropped this on the ground, I actually bent it. Great. We're going to that a little bit. Wiggle it back and forth. Pour out. That was just my connector for test pieces. Now we're going to come back with our Arduino minion, and we are going to, pin 4 goes over there, this goes over here. So I'm looking at this worn out pin. That's the one that this is put into, which is the negative. And I need to make sure that that goes in properly. Otherwise, we don't have a negative and things don't work. Okay. I'm going to get this out of the way. We're going to put this back on top of here after I check that we are off. I'm going to push this back a little bit because I need to move a laptop. And we'll just plug that in. Let's see, can you see any of this? Sort of. So you can see the laptop, you can't see the minion right now. So let's go into Documents, Arduino. So we've got a remote, a run all 4, a run forward. So I'm going to go into read radio, which is my first program. And at the top, I have some variables declared. So radio forward is actually connected to pin. Let's just bring up the notes. Run radio forward is connected to Arduino 6. So it's not 8, it's 6. Reverse isn't 9, it's 7. So that means that the actual command to run forward should be 8 and 9. Okay. We are going to look up. So Control U is upload, and Control Shift M is what I use for the monitor. Okay, I will turn on my truck. Turn on my remote. And Control Shift M. Board at COM10 is not available. Tools. Board. Port. There we go. It's port 12, not port. Okay, so I have to go Control U again. And you don't want to see the monitor, you want to see the truck. Okay, we will bring this up. You can see some of this stuff. Can you see some of it? Not really. Okay, the remote, and we'll just put over here. Control Shift M brings up my serial monitor, and I've got a bunch of zeros. I'm going to hit forward, and I've got 4, and you can see the blinking. And then reverse is 8. Again, you can see the blinking here. And then the turns, which worked before. 1, you can see the blink. And 2, you can see the blink. So that's very nice. It makes me feel so much better. So I am now going to stop this program. I'm going to, that's read radio. I'm not going to do run forward. I'm going to do run all 4. I'm going to save that one first. Minion read radio is updated. And pin 8 is actually pin 6, 9, 6, 7. We're going to go Control U. Which will compile. And just make sure that you're still seeing. Yep. Control Shift M. Okay, I was a little fast on that one. So I've got 0. I'm going to hit Enter. And it's showing me 1. Okay. 2. 3. Okay, 3 steered. 4 should steer the other way. So I didn't get a run forward or a run reverse. This is very similar to where I started my confusion. Okay. And 5 is not going to do anything, I don't think. Good. Okay. So I am going to go look at my code and see if there's a reason why this wouldn't work. Okay, there's an excellent reason. I still have pin 4 and 5 listed as outputs, and 4 and 5 are steering. 6 and 7 are still outputs, and 8 and 9 are inputs. And it's really hard to turn on an input. So 8, 9, 6, 7. So I've got my remote turned off, waiting for this to compile and download. And there's the noise. Uploading is done. Control-Shift-M. Okay, so we're going to hit 1. And that was forward, correct? Okay, we're going to do 2 now. And just verify. Yep. That was reverse. 3 is steer to the right. And 4, I just hit enter again, is steer to the left. Okay, so this is what the screen looks like. We're just going to hit enter again so it doesn't do it again. Just printing out what the number is, flashing it on the LEDs, and then performing that function. So I would say that that is successful. So now, the 2 changes I made here to the pin numbers and to the direction of the data is going to have to get put into remote. So rather than do the changes again, I will just copy them. Because copying them will avoid me fat fingering something and having to do it more than once. So I'm copying the entire initialize routine, setup routine. Even though I don't really need to do the serial begin. So before I close it, I'm going to save LRW minion run all 4. Now I'm going to compile LRW minion remote. And I'm going to turn on my remote control. It's finished compiling, it's now uploading, and it's finished uploading. Control-Shift-M. So it is showing zeros, and it's flashing, actually not flashing anything. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my remote on, I'm going to hit forward, and then I'm going to hit backward, and then I'm going to turn left or right, and then I'm going to turn left. So that is as I would expect it to be done. So I have restored the function. So it works the way it used to. So now I am going to look up some code some example code for doing pulse width modulation on the output pins, which are 4, 5, 8, and 9. And I will try and ramp the speed up slowly in maybe 10 seconds so that I can see how slow I can make it turn and how much torque it has when I do that. But first I'm going to save my Minion remote. And I'm going to save as LRW Minion remote ramp. So all of the code that I've got will continue to work, and I will be adding some code for the ramping. And stopping the video.